Ah, so I guess it's the Tuesdays with Tori show with just me. Um, da 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 da. It would be easier if Tori was here to talk to. Are we live? Are we live and it's just me? I suppose I can pontificate while we wait for Tori to come back. We are live. Okay. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Tuesdays with Tori. You might notice that I am not actually Tori. You're very observant. I am the guest, Rain DeGrey, and Tori, our lovely one and only hostess with the mostest, did accidentally get booted because technology is hard, yo. But I will be filling. No, it looks like she's trying to come back. She got booted again. Let me tell you how hard technology is. We are all just doing our best here. And I'm very much looking forward to doing the second part of this Tuesday with Tori. Because last time we talked so much, I didn't answer a single question. I got halfway through answering the first question. So the point of this part 2 is to see if I can finally finish answering the first question that Tori has. And when Tori gets back from her technological struggles, we will pick up and go from there. Let's see. While we are waiting for, and as an Amish person who can hardly figure out how to turn on a computer, my sympathies are very much with Tori. But we will find some way to fill the time. And I'm going to fill the time by telling you, oh, okay, I can do a little promo. So next week, I am flying back to the city of my birth, San Francisco, and I'm going to be teaching 9 days of classes and events. Normally, my education is online because it's much more accessible and universal, and people can attend all over the world. But some people really do enjoy live events. And for those who do enjoy live events and want to see me in person, starting next week on the 17th, I have a art and draw session where I'm going to do some live modeling. And then I am teaching an anal play class, a strap-on play class, a femdom class, a rough play class. I'm going to be doing some house topping for various events. So if you want to meet me in person, attend some of my classes, one more, as many classes as you want. For the femdom, rough body play, anal play, and strap-on play classes, there will be live demos. Currently, you never know because things do change. But currently, I have the lovely Tori, the lovely Barbary Rose, who is going to be my demo bottom for the anal play class and the strap-on play class for kink.com. And the house topping, if you want to come worship my boots, which you absolutely should. I'm going to be house topping for Blush, which is a kinky humiliation party for femdoms. So if you want to do some boot worship and humiliation play, I will totally be able to hook you up. And we are still, I think Tori is still trying to figure this out. Okay, that's my promo. Let's shift to, okay, I can tell you a funny story about being kinky while we are waiting for our lovely hostess to figure out her technical issues. People often ask me, what are some of my most memorable scenes? And I would have to say that definitely up there in terms of most memorable scenes was a zombie gangbang. And I know I can hear you asking, what do you mean a zombie gangbang? The person who was getting gangbanged, she grew up Christian, and so she had a lot of reservations about exploring her sexuality. But she came up with the concept that if she'd always wanted to try a gangbang, but she could hear the Christian pastor in her head talking about how what an evil trollop she is, a whore of Babylon. So she decided that if she got everyone to dress up as zombies, it wouldn't count, which I think is actually quite clever. So we actually hired a makeup artist who tore rubber gloves, and Elmer's glued them to our faces, and then used an airbrush, makeup airbrush misting gun to make us all look like we were rotting, decaying flesh. We made a fake door with bloody handprints. It was a cardboard. And then we taped the door in place over the room where it was going to happen. And we had like caution tape festooned and dangling down. It was 3 male zombies and 3 female zombies. And the female zombies had strap-ons. And then we got into character, rawr, brains and or pussy, and ripped the door down. And we burst into the room, and we couldn't find our victim, our brain receptacle and cock receptacle. They had vanished out of the room. And we were shuffling like confused zombies with, boners and strap-ons, lusting for victim flesh. And it turns out she was tucked under the table, so we had to like drag her out. And even though there was 6 of us against 1 of her, it's hard work banging someone who is actively struggling and resisting. You're gonna get winded. And we had fake blood everywhere, lube flying up against the walls. And my sympathies go out to penis havers, because I can buy all the penis I want, and it never needs Viagra. And even if I get winded, that baby is still there. So we were trying to do the gangbang, and the 3 male zombies who were absolutely convinced that they were going to be able to, show up with force, had quite winded themselves struggling and trying to subdue our victim. And they weren't able to get their equipment to work because they were tired and sweaty and covered in torn rubber gloves that were slowly sliding off their sweaty faces. So it ended up being that the 3 female zombies with the strap-ons had to do all of the work because we weren't winded and our strap-ons were working because they don't need Viagra. And that is one of my favorite and most memorable scenes. Any scene where you hire a professional makeup artist and bring out the Elmer's glue is probably going to be a memorable scene. We're at 8 minutes, and Tori is having some issues. So I'm kind of thinking maybe this needs to like shut off and turn back on. If you don't mind, I'm just going to check with our, should we restart? Don't mind me. I have more stories for you, obviously. I can do Tuesdays with Rain, but it's really not quite the same. Should we, can you hear me? We may need to restart. I think that we're gonna, wait, hello?
Yep. Nobody spook it.
No.
Nobody spook it. Can you hear me?
I'm not breathing wrong. I can hear you perfectly.
Everybody.
Yay!
I'm like, and freeze. Oh my
We
goodness.
made it work.
We made it work.
So
I saw you. It's funny because I couldn't get in, but I could see you on the Instagram. I'm going to have to reset up some things here in a second, but that's okay because we made it and we're here. And I love that you just took charge and had to run the show for a better half of 10 minutes there. And thank you for waiting, audience. You've been all so great. We're gonna get through this. This is fantastic. Rain, thank you.
You're officially the head of bad internet.
I appreciate you finding my silly little humor here, right? We also have
I'm amused.
Coco, the corgi here today. Hey Erica. Hey everybody. Okay. We seem to be doing all right. I'm going to do the next portion of this, which is see if the internet will let me post it to the page and the Instagram. But before we do that, I'm just going to give you a bad condom joke so everybody can enjoy while we figure this out and start the show the correct way. Are you ready? Why don't condoms ever get lost?
Why don't they ever get lost?
I mean, besides they're not a sentient being, because they always know how to stay covered. Do I have sound effects on this thing? They're so bad. My jokes are so bad. I make them for everyone's enjoyment here. Maybe just mine at this point.
That's pretty bad. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a room with some dude claiming he lost a condom. Whoops, I lost it. Did it sprout little legs and walk away? I don't think so.
You know what? If it was sprouting little legs and walking away, maybe the whole category would get a little bit more attention. But I digress, people. I digress. Okay, welcome to Tuesday, where I started speaking to the Ethernet, the interwebs, the ether here. And then it's going on about 3 years now, and I've been able to meet so many great people like Miss Rain here. And honestly, I was talking in the green room, which was working, but then all this other stuff not working. So much fun. And I was like, honestly, this has become just like my mental health sort of outreach situation. So thank you for everybody to continue to support me and showing up even when my internet wants to have an attitude problem, right?
I distracted everyone with a zombie gangbang story.
Ooh, I mean, I guess I'll have to go back and listen to it unless you want to tell me quickly how exciting your gangbang
It's like
was.
a 10-minute story. There's
okay. Well, good.
Bloody handprints. There's zombies. There's a victim. The male zombies got winded and their dick didn't work. There's
wow.
Yeah,
that's thorough. I appreciate the stories. Okay, well, I'll have to go back to my own situation later and figure all this out. Okay, let me see if I can get you on the Instagram. But in the meantime, welcome back, everybody, to your favorite Tuesday show that you didn't ask for, but I've crept into your feed. Thank you, Erica. She's been doing my posts for me because I get sick of looking at myself and then I get stuck in the analysis paralysis. So thank you. And what was it, a few weeks ago, maybe about 4 weeks ago, we started with our conversation with lovely Miss Rain here. And it was so much fun. And the ADHDs and the tangents and the storytelling was on, they were on fire, but we didn't get a chance to do all the other things that we wanted to do.
1 hour and I hadn't answered the first question. And at the end of an hour, I was still trying to answer your first question. You're like,
which is fantastic.
Part two.
Yeah, I feel like a little banner here, right? So somewhere in between kink and education and technology and social media and life philosophy, we realized we hadn't finished the story. So we're going to fix that. And we're going to dive deeper into Rain's journey, all of her fun challenges, just general challenges that a lot of us still face in education. The reality of social media, if we can a little bit, because here I am trying to dabble and there's lots of fun opinions and things. And maybe a little bit about social media and censorship, because that's a big topic.
I would actually, I will quickly land the how I got into kink and the lifestyle, because social media and censorship is actually a topic that I have a lot to say. We'll probably go over it. You ready for part 3?
Yes. Yes, ready for part 3. You'll have to sign up for that lesson later. But Rain, for those of you that didn't get a chance to tune in earlier, can you give us the quick, make it as long as you need, the quick, hi Rain, who are you? How'd you get here? How can you help us? And what do we want to talk about?
Excellent. You've come to the right place. I have answers for all of those questions. My name is Rain DeGrey. I am an author, an activist, an educator, a professional pervert, and I have been being kinky and sex positive on the internet for 18 years now. I truly, truly, genuinely love what I do. This is why I get up in the morning. I genuinely believe in helping people, and I think that one of the best ways that you can help someone is to help them overcome sex shame and be more confident and comfortable in their bodies. Now, if you're asexual, you're like, well, that's a tool that's not going to help me. But because there's over 8 billion people on this planet, a lot of us like sex. We do it a lot, but we are carrying the baggage of fear and guilt and shame along with us. And the more that we can, the sooner that we can drop that baggage, the better off we are. So I started out as a kinky model because I knew that I wanted to access these experiences in as safe a way as possible. And I do get grief from lifestylers, which I am. I'm a 24/7 lifestyler, but they do feel that anyone who's done,
right? Yeah.
They feel that anyone who's done modeling and has gotten paid for it is therefore not authentic. And
that's an interesting
yes,
viewpoint.
because it's like you should be doing it for the pure love of your heart. And I'm like, well, how crazy is it? How selfish is it to actually want to make a living doing what I love? This is
Okay,
gonna.
so by that logic, we shouldn't pay musicians.
We shouldn't pay musicians. You shouldn't pay actors. Like models are not authentic. Like anyone who's a stand-up comedian should be doing it for free. So
what
this
is work these days, anyways? Who knows? What is the scope of work? That SOW. We don't know. We don't know.
And along the way, so I've been an educator for almost the whole time that I've been public facing. It took me a full year. I wanted to learn enough. I really don't believe, I don't get on stage because I want people to pay attention to me or I'm looking for fame or notoriety. Because let me tell you, sex education is not the way to be famous or rich. No. That is a labor of love right there. But I wanted to know enough before I got on the stage. And my first class that I taught was one of my biggest fetishes personally, off camera, is strap-on play. So my first class, the first class that I taught was a strap-on play class. And it's been off and running since. I teach a whole bunch of classes. And along the way, about halfway into, my kinky journey of sex exploration, I started to get really into social media, like love it. Like some people hate it. I love social media. I could do it 8 hours a day. So you want to unpack social media, buckle up, because I am about to info dump on you. So for me, I loved, you're going to notice I'm saying this past tense, the accessibility. You can just put the notepad away. The accessibility that social media gave us. Through most of human history, we were born, lived, and died in the same 20-mile radius. People didn't travel. You didn't hear news. Your life was the same life as your grandparents, as your great-grandparents. And
I had to explain to my children that there wasn't a way to just instantly ask something a question. You had to go find somebody that knew the answer and trusted them, or like write your stuff down and then go on a research binge with the encyclopedia.
Go to the library. I had my own encyclopedia. I grew up without smartphones. And I will say that we are now realizing more and more how toxic smartphones and social media can be to younger people, where it gives them body image issues, it worsens their depression, it increases their anxiety.
And now there's not even real people on it.
Now it's not even real people. So
it's not even real,
yeah. So let's unpack AI and where social media is now. So while I do not discount the very toxic effects that social media can have and Instagram can have and TikTok can have, because there's been lawsuits now, and people can say they have won money from lawsuits from how damaging social media is. And here I am still with stars in my eyes saying, I've met people all over the world. I wouldn't have met you without social media. I wouldn't be on this podcast without social media. I've met incredibly supportive, like-minded people all over the world. It is such an effective way to get information out. You can reach the entire world, and I find that fascinating and thrilling. And as someone who basically 90% of my social media is based around sexuality in some way. And I've had multiple jobs as a social media manager. And all of those jobs were for sex positive, for a porn company, for a dildo company, 2 different porn companies. And I have watched the absolute hamstringing and crippling of social media. So basically what they did is they got all of us on the internet. And then once our businesses are on the internet.
Especially in 2020.
But we used to do zines. We used to do flyers. You used to, back in the day, there'd be a party line and you'd call the temporary number and they'd say the party is happening in this warehouse at this time. This is the address.
Or when the Zeitgeist was actually a guide that was printed.
Right. And those days are gone, baby. once I think of the internet as a massive highway, and each Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Blue Sky, Twitter, I refuse to call it X. Sorry, I won't.
I keep forgetting to call it.
All are on-ramps leading you onto that freeway. And once they have those established on-ramps, what they are then able to say is, this is our list of gross stuff. We don't want this. We don't want to talk about this. And the no.
Decide this list. How do I get on the board? Anyway.
The longer that we are on the internet, the longer the list grows in terms of things that are naughty. So Cherie was here earlier. I'm imagining that she's still here. She could back me up on this. As you probably know, as someone who's in the industry, what is every August? Every August is
Anal Awareness Month. Anal August.
Anal August. Every August is Anal August. And what would we do? We would promote anal awareness, prostate awareness, anal health. Do you know that colon cancer and rectal cancer is one of the highest cancers that we currently have? Like, and it used to be back in the day, I'm sitting here on the lawn in my ratty bathrobe, shaking my skinny fist into the sky. We used to be able to say Anal August. And then suddenly we couldn't. No. We have to A and then a peach and then an AL. Yeah. And they start suppressing it and the list. So I'm not a sex educator. I'm an SEGG, sex. Mm-hmm. And it's just, so we're speaking in Dr. Seuss code at this point. Like, it's just, we can't have an honest discussion about this stuff. It becomes more and more censored. So the censorship of Anal August, where you're saying, we don't want perverts talking about butt plugs. Someone is going to die from anal cancer, from colon cancer, from rectal cancer, because you are suppressing open and honest discussions. That is it.
Nobody knows what they don't know.
No one knows what they don't know. And this censorship just grows worse every year, every month, every week. I describe it as, I'm trying to work with an invisible playbook where the rules are written in invisible ink and they also change every week. You can't and I'm trying to follow the guidebook, but the pages are blank. Well, why can't you read invisible ink? Well, okay, I figured out how to read invisible ink. We keep changing the rules. The goalposts are moving all of the time.
It's like, where's my cheese in this mousetrap of chaos?
Right. And the example that I always use is that the suppression and the censorship is not evenly applied. Cherie Watt was with me.
Who's allowed to say the word?
Oh, sex. Who's allowed to?
And who's not allowed to say? And you have to say SEGG.
So there was a company, and they did something I think is very noble, and they created pelvic floor recovery girdles for post-pregnancy. So after you've given birth, it can take a while for the muscles to get back in shape. And a very useful tool would be a pelvic floor recovery girdle that a new mother would have on and wear as she is in the first few weeks of her recovery. And Facebook said, oh, no, that's gross. That's yucky pants. We can't have that. We will not allow you to advertise. We are going to suppress you because a post-pregnancy pelvic recovery girdle is gross. But you know what Facebook would allow for advertising? Guess. Go ahead and guess.
Oh, I know for one of them, I don't know if it's at the same time, but you could advertise Kim Kardashian's faux bush panties, right? Those were. I mean, how is that? No, boner pills. Boner pills and condoms are allowed. Dick is allowed. So you can absolutely advertise your condoms and your boner pills, but heaven forbid you try to advertise and pay Facebook money for a post-pregnancy pelvic girdle recovery system. Facebook said absolutely no. My eyes rolled very loud there. Yes, it goes back to, I just try to remind people this. It's not that I'm like hating on everybody or like playing the patriarchy or our lives are horrible. It's just, no, someone needs to understand that the scale is very weighted in one side. We have over 100 years of research on ED and
Mhm.
less than 25 years of
Mhm.
research on PMS.
Oh,
Last,
and people with endometriosis are told it's in their head. And it's like,
well,
I
and
knew
then
this.
we
Oh,
haven't
sorry.
figured out PCOS, right? And it did just change to, I think it's PMOCS, like you don't have to have a cyst, but we still haven't figured it out.
No,
But
so
we haven't figured it out.
this just came up. Okay, so the male birth controls. Oh my God. Okay. All right, cool. This is one
Male
of my
birth
rants.
control.
The
Okay,
male
yes,
birth
go.
control worked. And men are like, I don't like the side effects. They make me sad. So they're like, well, even though we have a working birth control for men, men can't be uncomfortable. So we'll make a birth control for women. They can shoulder the burden of uncomfortableness. That's what they are here for anyway. And it's just the scale is so weighted. And I am so frustrated that the social media landscape that I love and adore and have done for years and found so rewarding and enriching, and it allowed me to learn and spread knowledge and meet like-minded people, is so incredibly suppressed. So the workarounds, I mean, you lose platforms. When I was a social media manager for the sex toy company, we just lost Facebook. Just lost it. They're like, oh, there's nothing you can do. You get to build again, but like there's no appeal. All of that work, all of those contacts are gone in a second.
There's like nowhere to send an email. There's nobody to call.
They don't want to hear. They don't care. They don't give a damn. Squawk, squawk. And I would do all of this research like, well, okay, can I buy advertising? Will that get out of the shadow banning? They don't even want your advertising dollar. So even if you're like, I'll pay you not to suppress me, they're like, yeah, but we've looked at it and we don't want your filthy money. So
yeah, I'm kind of like, the juice is not worth the squeeze there. So no thanks.
The biggest solutions that I have currently found is you need to do direct. So like emails, that can't be suppressed. Once you get an email list, a semi-functioning, anything over 1,000 is something that you can work with. They can't take that away. And you need to be able to directly reach out to people. Also, one of the things that and it's a huge time suck, like we don't get paid for it, but we have to do all of this unpaid labor to do jazz hands on social media. Look at us over here, da 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 da. And it's
but don't look thirsty. Don't be desperate. Don't clog the feed.
Don't say the wrong thing, or we'll boot you, we'll censor you, we'll suppress you. And the thing is that it's very clever for the social media companies because we are all unpaid content creators who are just desperately creating content for them for free all day, just hoping, please, sir, I hope you don't shadow ban me quite as hard this time. And the algorithms are...
I'm still getting people to be on your platform. Isn't that what you want? No?
And you can see, so if you do any research in the back end of the data, which is, I'm kind of like a data geek, I would be looking at it.
I love the data.
And you could just see, it was like they were turning a nozzle on and off. And it was like, oh, you have 20 times your regular amount of views because you broke through the algorithm. Oh, no, right off a cliff, just plummeted all the way down over, and you would fight. So one of the ways that used to work, it doesn't anymore, is you would, hey, we've been shadow banned again. And then you would ask all your followers, please like and comment to break us free from the shadow ban. And it would work back in the day. And it would just skyrocket up. That people would engage, boom. And you'd be like, okay, we're back to where it should be before the suppression. And then literally the next day, when they see what you've done, they just dampen it. They just turn it back on and you plunge off a cliff.
Well, and then now they change the algorithm every 6 months to what they want to see, right? I'm hearing it's user-generated content. FaceTime. Yay, we're doing it, Rain. But right, it's like it's every 6 months. It's like what they want to promote, what they want to do, and everybody has to change their strategy.
I think it's more frequent than every 6 months. I think it's way more frequent than every 6 months. And
by the time I catch on, it's a good 6 months.
And the rules are completely unevenly applied. So are you aware of the gray market, the black market for social media suppression?
No, go on.
Oh, I've got a story for you. So
yes,
one of the ways that we look for visibility is on Instagram. But Instagram is incredibly not friendly to people like us. And I
think Instagram, correct me if I'm wrong, the problem I'm having is it's like if I sign myself for like, oh, this is a cooking thing or an education thing, then you somehow get lumped in, like, say this is like lifestyle or whatever. You get lumped into the lifestyle algorithm, even if my content doesn't have anything to do with that.
Because they don't want someone talking about sex on their platform. They don't. You are fighting the good fight, but you are battling billionaires with nothing but free time who want to suppress you and your voice. And there's more of them, and you are just struggling. You are absolutely doing your best. And it is exhausting to wake up every day and be like, I have good, useful information. I know that I can help people, and yet you are suppressing me. And they don't do anything. Like, it's only the most egregious when they take away your account, but the much more effective thing, they just put a ball gag in you. They just put a burlap sack over your head, and they just stick you in a corner in the dark. And you're talking to yourself like a crazy person. They're like,
I mean, that's every day here anyways, but I hear you.
Right,
I'll talk to the dog,
but they make it
yes.
so that nobody can hear what you're saying. And so then you have to count on people actively looking up Tori, and people are lazy. And they have the attention span of a gerbil on crack, man. They can't.
It's like they've programmed us to have the shortest attention span, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what you get 3 seconds max to engage somebody as they're scrolling.
No, yeah, I'm lost. My fingers got tired. I can't feel my thumbs.
I was gonna, and then I didn't. Yeah,
it's got to be presented to me on a silver plate. So for people that do sexy time stuff, they need Instagram. And I'm terrified to post on Instagram now. If I breathe wrong, I'm going to lose my account. My numbers have not grown in years. Like, it's just a steel lid on it. I have been 13.2K for 4 years now without budging. The sex toy company that I used to be the social media manager for, we were skyrocketing, and then you could just see the day that they put the lid on it. And you could get hundreds of likes on a post, and towards the end, it was 10. And I'm like, so I'm posting better content. I'm doing the research. I'm doing it at the right time, on the right day, for the right engagement. I'm following all of the rules. I've never worked harder for less eyeballs. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, it just keeps accelerating with what you have to do. So for some people, when they lose an account, they lose the platform they really need. They need those followers back. That's how they make their living.
I've got friends that have backup accounts. I like messaging. They're like, sorry, love, I didn't see this. This was my backup account. And I was like, I'm sorry, I couldn't keep them straight. Which one's the right? Because in case something gets, turned off or knocked down, they can still make a living.
And that's all that extra labor you have to do to constantly be trying to dance around censorship.
Yeah, like, we need one more thing to manage at this point, right? Like, we got meal prep, we got to stay hydrated, we got to do our workout routines, right? Then we still got to get to work.
I'm trying to stay hydrated and fight against censorship. Oh my God!
And now we got to manage all of our backup accounts.
I'm so tired. So this one content creator that I heard about, she lost her Instagram, and she was like, I need that back. And you contact them. You're just shouting into the void. So what she did is she went on LinkedIn and she started looking for employees that worked for Meta, because Meta runs Instagram. And then she would set up to have a date. She would message them on LinkedIn. And she said she had to fuck 8 men. And then the 8th one was able to give her back her account. So Meta employees actually have a whole, and the first 7 just were like,
who's in a good mood today? Let's find out, kind of situation.
Well, not everyone has access, but the truth is that Meta employees that can turn off an account also will, some of them, and they're making good money doing it, take money to turn your account back on. And she just went through LinkedIn and found the people until she found the one who could turn her account back on. There are
how much time did this take her? At least 8 dates, right?
And setting
plus
them up.
the research.
the amount of effort and time and energy.
It sounds like at least 2 months to get her stuff turned back on. That's a lot of time.
It is absolutely all about who you know. And I'm no longer a social media manager on Instagram, but I would say that one of my frustrations is that the rules were unevenly applied. And one of the worst censorship that ever happened, that the account never recovered from, was that I, as the social media manager, reposted a story that another profile had done that had like 150,000 followers, and the profile that I was running for this company had like 15K. So 150K is not the same as 15K. And they were able to do the story, and it was a product. They were promoting a product that the company I was working for made. So I reposted it, and Instagram was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, no, no, no. You have broken all of the rules. You are a sinner. We are ringing the shame bell. We are taking down your story. And the account never recovered from the suppression. And I actually wrote to the much bigger account that was like, hey, I reposted your story, and they removed it and said it was violating the rules. And we are now so shadow banned and censored, literally no one can see us. And their response was like, oh man, that sucks. But they weren't in trouble for posting the story, but the account I ran got totally screwed for simply reposting what they posted.
Yeah, so you were already on someone's like naughty list, so to speak.
Right. So it's the rule book is written in invisible ink. The rules are changing all of the time, and they're not evenly applied. So the rules that you're trying to comply with, someone else that is doing the same thing as you doesn't have to they don't have to follow the same rules. So it's like taking crazy pills. It is infuriating. And I see more people saying we're going back to zines, we're doing direct mailing, we're doing email lists, we're doing whatever we can to work around the suppression. And it's rough. Like, I wish I could say that that the rules aren't evenly applied, and they're not. Like, that's as
like, it's like, could you at least explain the logic to me so I could fit into that logic? Right now, I don't understand. You know what I mean?
I suspect that the bigger accounts that aren't dealing with the same level of suppression probably know someone on the inside and are paying someone off, and they don't want to talk about it, and they don't want to share that information. So they're just, if you can get an inside source where your profile will not be suppressed, you're going to pay for that service, and you're not going to talk about it.
So the gatekeepers continue to be the gatekeepers, so to speak. Yeah.
And you will see people struggling with the stuff that you are not currently struggling with because you're paying not to struggle with it. But you're not going to say, hey, I know what you exhibit. And I have a lot of complaints about the current state of social media, and like my frustrations, like the solutions, I don't have as many. We're stuck on social media. We need to be on social media. That is how we reach people. But
you have no legitimacy. It's like, if you don't have a website, someone's like, that's not really a company, right? If I can't find your business address on whatever, Yelp or Google Maps, it's like, it doesn't exist. It's squirrely.
Right. So even if you have a website, people cannot necessarily find it. Google will suppress it. That's a gross, yucky website. We don't want that to be seen. Now you're having to pay Google for it to be sponsored. Like, it all comes down to capitalism. It's how much can we squeeze you? And I work so much harder to be seen. I used to just be able to post something. Here's a class I'm teaching. Bam, people could see it. And now I've got to do promo. I've got to do it at the right time. It's going to be suppressed. I need backup accounts. I need to be incredibly cautious about how I'm promoting these classes. The graphics have to follow whatever are the rules for that week. And I'm like, I am working 20 times as hard for a fifth of the results.
Yeah, or something was just supposed to help promote what you're doing, right? Now you're like, I can't live without it, and I have no visibility. Like, right. That's really hard, right? We're trying to launch a new brand, right? We are launching the new illumination line, and that's not the same problem, but the problem we're having is traditionally my boss comes from consumer electronics, right? You could just run whatever on Best Buy. the snowball starts, right? Not necessarily when you're trying to sell sex tech, or, you know, especially if you want to reach your actual like audience, right? You want to grow it organically. But how? Do you feel like your visibility has gotten any better with the new blue check mark ever?
No.
Interesting. Because mine did, but also I'm not cool. You got way more things going on, and you've put more into your social media.
Did it for a little bit, and then it stopped working. So you can purchase it, and I'm actually glad that you asked that. So I say no because I mean no long term. How it works with the blue check mark is that you are buying them to put their finger on the dial and switch the algorithm just enough for you to get the visibility that it justifies in your mind the cost of the blue check mark. And then once you've bought in, they just dial it back. And every platform does that. Every single one. They will take your money, and they're pressing their thumb on the scale. And they're like, oh, you gave me some money? I'm going to just take my thumb off the scale for a little bit so you can get a taste of the juice.
Yeah, just to see that it's worth it. And then,
so I started a Substack a few months ago. And because research is my jam, I started to really look into it. And for the first few months, my numbers were just skyrocketing. And then they absolutely hit a ceiling. They hit a concrete wall. And I went and looked into it. And Substack, not unique to Substack, every platform, they dial up the algorithmic engagement. So the first few months to get you to commit and buy into the platform, your numbers are just skyrocketing. And once you've committed and made the transition and you're 3 months in, they just dial it off. And all of my growth, which was just boom, is dead, completely dead in the water. And that's not unique to Substack. That's for any platform.
And how are you supposed to feel like all of a sudden, okay, my content is not good anymore? Like, do I just need to repeat
that's exactly what they want you to think, because then
how would you not feel that way?
You've committed to the platform, you've seen the growth, and suddenly the growth stops. So you think, I must be doing wrong. And what they are ensuring is that you are going to work harder. They've gotten you committed. Now that you're committed and you've seen the numbers and you're like, I must be doing something wrong. And then what they are getting you to do, because Substack, if you have a paid newsletter, Substack takes a percentage of it. They're not doing this out of the goodness of their heart. So they've ensured once you're hooked that you're going to work ever harder. They're like, now we have unpaid labor. You're going to be desperately trying to provide more content to our platform to be seen. And all we have to do is just fuck with the algorithms, which they do constantly. Every platform, 100% of them. There isn't one that doesn't do it. So I didn't bother with the blue check mark because I knew that I would get a month's use out of it. Some people, and it would just stop working. And I'm like, I refuse, because then you have to stop paying it. Like I'm not gonna. It's like giving money to someone to abuse you. You're like, oh, I'm gonna hit you less. Oh, thanks for hitting me less. Fuck you. How about
I feel so grateful.
I'm so grateful that you're not swallowing me quite as much. My hero. How about not doing it at all in the first place? I'm not going to pay my abuser and be like grateful that they don't do it for a month. And they're like, aha, you got used to it. Bappity bap. That's what it is. And I just
like, we don't have enough mind fucks going on right now. And then add perimenopause, which wasn't a real thing until like 5 years ago, even though everybody was going through something.
But it wasn't discussed. Anything having to do with women is not discussed. You do know that if you get in a car accident, you have a higher chance of dying. Do you know that?
The estrogen?
No. It's baked in everywhere. If you and a man are in a car and you're both wearing seatbelts and there's a horrific accident, the man has a higher chance of surviving. Guess why? Not estrogen. Seatbelts are designed for the default human body. What's the default human body? It's not a woman. No, don't be silly. The default human body is a man. So seatbelts are designed for men because they are humans and we are lesser. We are the weaker sex. We are not taken seriously. And sexism is so baked in that you and I have a higher chance of dying in a car accident because seatbelts aren't designed for us. That's how deep it goes. That's how deep it goes.
Don't worry, babe. He's back there being produced. We're not talking about you. It wasn't your fault, right? Thankfully, we're like the same height, so maybe the seatbelt will work for me. But yeah, that's just what society has run on, right? And I thought for a while, at least I bought into the narrative that it was like, okay, well, nobody really wanted to do tests on women or do the research because fertility, and then like, we didn't want to do whatever on kids or whatever. And then like at some point, it was just like, nobody ever thought to do it because nobody ever has.
That when they're testing medicine, until way too recently, medicine was tested on men because men are the default human body. Medicine works differently on women versus men. It's the chemistry is different, and they're like, well, sucks for you. Like, it's just, if you're female bodied, you are going to be discounted. You're going to be ignored. This is one of my, I haven't talked about this, I don't think, on a podcast, but I've talked about this in the past. Did I tell you about the hernia situation?
Oh, I think we started talking about it.
We started talking about the hernia situation. Yeah, because medical sexism is just.
And then
one
your
of
friend, surgery.
So,
okay.
And I looked the doctor in the eye and said, please explain to me how two people with the same insurance having the same medical procedure in the same week had such wildly different treatment. And he didn't have an answer. He couldn't. And I'm like, I can tell you it's sexism. Sexism is the answer. This isn't rocket science. But if you are baked in privilege, it's very hard to step outside yourself and realize, like, be conscious of the fact that other people are experiencing life differently than you.
Or a lot of people are on autopilot, right? They don't necessarily think to question anything. This is just what I'm doing. Think
question. And I'm a white, busty, blonde woman who's height, weight proportionate. That is an undeniable amount of privilege that I have. I am living life. I'm experiencing life different than someone that doesn't have the privileges that I do. But I am not experiencing life as a man. I don't know what that's like. I don't know what it's like to be, I can take a run at 10 o'clock at night. I can go on a date and I don't have to be texting someone my number. Hope I don't die tonight. Like that, the amount, and it takes a conscious effort to step back and look at your privilege. And not everyone can do that. And I wake up every day and I try to look at my privilege. I remind myself every day that I am living this life experience on a different level than people around me. Like, right. Part of it,
when the stepping stones were not necessarily built for you, it's hard to go back and rebuild the building, right? The foundation's already cracked, right? How do we do better from here?
Right. So to answer your social media question, that is what I have. Is I have frustration, I have heartbreak, I have sorrow over a tool that I loved and that it changed my life for the better. Undeniably for the better. I am a social media fanatic. I love it. And I am watching it crumble around me. So I'm no longer a social media manager. Why? Because social media managers don't exist anymore. They've been replaced by AI.
Because ChatGPT can just do it for you.
And I'm like, so tech billionaires. I just have a small question.
Oh, you're cute. You think tech billionaires are even on this show or even know I exist?
My question is this. If you keep firing people and laying people off and replacing them with AI, who's going to buy your shit? So you have AI social media managers selling products to whom? Who's left on the internet? Are they trying to sell it to other AIs? Like, how does that even work? And they're like, well, we're not thinking long-term. We're thinking short-term. Who else can we fire? Who can we replace by AI who won't get migraines, doesn't get pregnant, will never take a sick day, their car will never break down, they will work 7 days a week, you don't have to pay for health insurance. Oh, by the way, that's a fucking farce because in other countries, the government covers health insurance. Like the health insurance system in America is so broken And they're like, how can we offload it onto companies? So then you have to cover the part of your employees' health insurance. I don't blame companies for switching to AI, but then no one has jobs, so no one can buy your shit. Like,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
are you are not thinking long term. Yeah.
80% of jobs that will be eliminated by AI are held by whom? Anyone? I'm guessing she's getting at women.
It's they cannot wait to well, I mean, women to a large extent, but it's like they were telling us, you got to get into college, you have to very binary stat. Well, we want women pregnant, submissive, barefoot, and in the kitchen. That's what we want. They got,
but you have to still contribute financially, right?
How you've taken all the jobs, and that is not accidental. The amount of men I see online who are like, giving women the right to vote was the worst thing that ever happened. It's like, so, and or women working is the worst thing that ever happened. And it's like, so you are admitting with your full chest that you are such a deeply unpleasant human being that the only way you could get companionship and get your very own muse, maid, cook, baby maker, and sex slave was that she wasn't allowed to have a job. So her job was changing your diapers and giving you your binky. And the second she could have a job, she was like, fuck that noise. This job sucks. I don't want to work for you. I want to work for myself because I am tired of changing your diapers. And men are losing their minds. They're like, we can't have that. We miss our sex slaves. We miss our maids, our cooks. We're missing the person who did all of the emotional labor and wore themselves down. They say women are hysterical.
That invisible cognitive load. That's a rough one. That's a rough one.
And when I talk about the privilege, like, men can't see that invisible cognitive load that women have to shoulder all the time. And now they're like, well, how do we get women out of the workforce and make it so they can't work, so they have to come back to being our sex slaves? That's what it is. Absolutely what it is.
I mean, I blame the CIA. They wanted more taxpayers. So here we are. And then now who that one snaps, Tori. Yep. It's I don't know what the answer is, because
the thing is that you cannot put the genie back in the bottle. Capitalism works as a concept. We are in late stage capitalism. Capitalism only works as continued, never-ending, ceaseless growth. That is the definition, that is the foundation of how capitalism works. And you can't, if you look at, multi-level marketing, by the time you've done 6 rounds, it's every single person on the planet would be buying the vitamins. You can't have this never-ending growth. Every quarter has to be better. It's not statistically possible.
Well, and we're not just talking statistically, we're also talking like from a right. There's not enough people. People are not having enough children. Like there's not going to be enough people to sell all of this growth to at some point. Not that I'm anti-capitalist. I love the fact that, like, Chris says, hey, let's make a sex toy that lights up, and we have the autonomy to do that, right? There are some countries where you just are not allowed to set a business. But at what point is it monopoly, right? The people with all the stuff have all the stuff.
Right. So what I do know is that once women entered the workforce, so this is one of my areas I have a lot of areas of research. This is one of them. Until 1972, a woman was not even allowed to have a credit card in New York. 1972,
not that long ago.
It was not that fucking long ago. It wasn't that long ago. But once women entered the workforce, it was a huge boom to the economy. You cannot remove 50% of the people in the economy that are working. I mean,
who's going to run the AI? By the way, it's still stupid, right? To your point, AI is going to just keep pumping out AI or whatever's on the internet. At some point, you're going to have no people to run the internet, to run the AI.
It's just going to be robots trying to sell widgets to other robots, and neither robot needs it. We are in very not boring times. This is a course correction.
Is this a dystopian novel we're in, or utopian? Where are we at, you think? What sort of adventure are we on here?
I feel that it's a little bit more dystopian, but at the same time, look what happened with the French Revolution. You cannot have it. It doesn't. There's a reason why the billionaires are desperately buying bunkers. If you looked into what Mark Zuckerberg did in Hawaii, he has like hundreds of acres, his own beef that he's growing. He's got an underground bunker. He's got his own helipad. Like, he knows, like, the rich people are like, we are hoarding wealth at such an accelerated rate. We know the revolution, guillotine time, snappity, snappity. We know that. We're building the bunkers and getting as much resources as we can. It's a sickness. It's a compulsion. Once you have 7 billion, that extra 8 billion isn't going to change anything. Your life isn't radically different for that extra billion, but you're an addict. You're a junkie for acquisition. You can't stop. It's pathological at that point. What I do think is
that's an interesting take. I hadn't thought of it that way. I was just thinking, like, narrative wise, like Steve Jobs didn't even let his kids have iPads, right? The McDonald's guy won't even eat his own hamburgers. You know what I mean? But no, it's more on top of that, right? Like, the nervous system needs to continue to acquire.
Right. It becomes an addiction. It becomes a compulsion, and they literally can't stop. I use my own father as an example. When my father was born, he had the first television on the entire block. And my father's old as dirt. I was an unexpected kid, like way past when he didn't think kids were going to happen. Surprise! Your sperm is very viable. But he had the first television on the block, and everyone would come at night to his house to watch TV. And then more houses got television, but he watched the invention of the internet, a man on the moon, cell phones. Are you freaking kidding me? That's a single lifetime. So when I said earlier with this talk that we're having, where it was like you could be born, live, and die in the same 20-mile radius, and so were your grandparents and your great-grandparents and your great-great-grandparents. We have a rocket ship strapped to our ass. We are accelerating at a rapidity that our brains can't even comprehend. We were meant to hunt bison and gather berries. And what we are asking our brain to do now, like how much things have accelerated. When I was a kid, I didn't have, like, this is my entire life is on this cell phone.
Yeah.
That my banking.
It's also my business too.
My business, my contacts. This didn't exist. We didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I remember getting my first text message, and I'm like, what witchcraft is this? It's wizardry. There's words on my phone. How is that?
Pretty insane. Yeah.
Right. So things are shifting so rapidly.
How is our biology supposed to keep up with any of this?
It can't.
It can't. At least that's what. Ooh, I got a new book from a girlfriend, and I'm really enjoying it. The Mind Magic, James Doty.
Okay.
And one of the first things he starts talking about. So the rest of the title is the neuroscience of how manifestation and how it changes everything. So, like, he starts talking about, there's a lot of woo-woo connected to it so people can make money, but here's like literally some things. But one of the other things he was talking about is just humans are not meant to be hanging out in their sympathetic, right? Their amygdala, their lizard brain all the time. We're supposed to react to whatever the lizard brain was concerned about, right? And women naturally have a bigger amygdala because we were the caretakers. We make the spawns, right? Protect the spawns. You're supposed to be doing it. So he says it more like your mind versus your heart. You're supposed to be parasympathetic in your heart, right? You're meant to live with other people. You're meant to love. And we're constantly in a state of performance, right? It's at work, or it's like, hey, I don't feel good about myself because I'm not fitting into this narrative that I've been spoon-fed about. I can make the money. I can, still drop up the kids and pick them up and do the cooking and the stuff. It's like the amount of expectation is unreal. But no one's, at least in my opinion, no one's going out there being like, hey, by the way, the stuff that they're expecting you to do is unreal. You're not supposed to be doing the amount of this stuff.
Right. I 1,000% agree with that. And I also think, just like you can't put women back in the bottle when we took them out of the kitchen and gave them options to enter the workforce, we can't undo AI. Where we will be in 10 years. I want you in 10 years, if the earth has not completely blown up, to remember this conversation that you're having with me now. and
Do it.
take a moment to realize how much has your life changed in the past 10 years? Just like
so much.
Times that times 1,000.
Oh, I know, right?
Like in the next
I
10
only
years,
had one kid 10 years ago. I have two, like just so many crazy things, right?
Right. And it is accelerating, and we have taken the AI genie out of the bottle. And where I see it, the reason I lean more dystopian is that it is getting harder to get jobs. People are working harder than ever. More and more people are being laid off. And what you see is that the people in control are like, I can't wait to fire you. Filthy, disgusting, annoying, inconvenient humans. Clear the decks. And that all they're seeing is the money they can save by not hiring and having to work with annoying, inconvenient humans. And they're not
You don't have to lead them. You don't have to make sure you don't need to have like management, right? Like one of my major skills until I was kind of now running more of a category was team leadership, right? That was my jam. I was always much better at, leading a team and coordinating that communication than like, doing all the selling. The selling just came naturally to me, if that made sense. But now it's like, oh, sure. Now you don't even need to have management or leadership. We're just going to have
clear cutting that out.
Yeah.
And what they're not seeing long term, they're only seeing the short term gain of, oh, it's an employee that never needs a vacation, has a medical emergency, has 0 kids. This is so incredibly convenient. This is what I want. And what they aren't realizing is that in 10 years, you're going to have a populace that has nothing but free time, is desperate, is broke, can see how unequal things are, can see how the resources have been hoarded. And the French, royalty thought that there were going to be no consequences. And they all got their freaking heads chopped off, didn't they? At a certain point, when people have no opportunities, have no work to keep them busy, desperately need money, and have no resources, the scale will tip. Now it's going to, but like, we just need to ride that wave of getting to the other side of whatever that looks like.
We're riding the tidal wave. I got my floaty and everything. I have stopped trying to go against the current because it's not working.
It's not, So as someone who mildly dabbles in futurism, my advice is buckle up, Buttercup, because times are spicy and not boring, and they're going to get even more spicy. Oh, look at that loaf. Do you see that? No, Dad. Do you see that juicy booty?
I know. She says hello.
I used to have a half corgi. He was half corgi and half German Shepherd. So he looked like a dwarf German Shepherd because he had the corgi legs. Aww. He looked like a German Shepherd hit with a shrink ray, brink, with a little corgi butt. And then I started meeting all of these half corgis, like half corgi, half Dalmatian, half corgi, half Samoan, half corgi, half German Shepherd, half corgi, half Chihuahua. I don't even know how that worked. Half corgi, half Great Dane. And they were all around the same age, and it was in the same area. And I became convinced that there was a very charming corgi with a stepladder who was just running around. I mean, maybe there was a bunch of half corgis and I hadn't seen them, but I'm like, the age range, I'm like, there was a corgi Casanova who was just like, hello, ladies.
Corgi Casanova, what's going on? No, we don't know what she is, just corgi something. We think terrier. I don't know. She's my Tijuana.
That was my other one, was a corgi terrier. I had a half corgi, half German Shepherd, and a half corgi, half terrier. Oh, love.
So fun.
All righty. Well,
I was like, we this was super fun on social. So we'll have to talk about burnout and like how to not lose yourself on the next one. We can do a part 3. But do you want to do some quick?
I have so much more to say.
I love it. I love talking to you. You make me feel better or like enlightened, right? I was like,
excellent.
I hadn't thought about it that way, right?
That is actually one of my great beliefs, is that people are always fretting, what's the meaning of life? And I believe that the meaning of life is to be a better person and to help others. If you help one other person on this planet, your time here was worthwhile. And I get up every morning and I want to help others. I want to learn, I want to pass knowledge, and I want to help others feel more comfortable and confident in their skin. That's my motivation. That's what
people are meant to be of service.
Yes, 1,000%. So I very much enjoy talking to you. I do I would happily love to discuss burnout. We should do a part 3.
Yes.
You keep hanging out with me, baby. We'll do part 17. I have so much.
Like, it's just going to be a monthly thing at this point, right? We're just going to like, okay, today we will therapize you in this way, right?
Opinions and thoughts, and I never shut up.
But it's so important, like you said. I don't know. I started out this whole platform because no one was talking about what I was talking about, and Coco's my coworker here. It feels alone when I naturally want to help and inspire anybody that I can, right? So if anybody found this inspiring, let us know. Let Rain know.
The audience is listening. We love you. Thank you for joining us. It would not be the same without you. I mean, it's not that we wouldn't have a great conversation, but you are the other half of the equation, and we very much appreciated having you here with us.
Yeah. So if you enjoyed the episode, feel free to like share it or inspire somebody else. That would be great. But also feel free to chime on in if you want to get a hold of Rain. Rain, can you do your shameless plug and tell us your social medias?
I sure can. So when I was doing a little time filler, when we were figuring out the technical issues at the beginning, I'll do it again real quick. So my name is Rain DeGrey. I am an author, activist, and educator. I teach classes. I do events. I write. I do photography. Next week, I am actually flying to San Francisco, and I'm going to do a 9-day series where I am teaching my strap-on play class, my anal play class, my femdom class, my rough body play and primal play class. Follow me on my newsletter. All of my classes are going to be listed on my socials. I am Rain DeGrey on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky. I do have a website, raindegrey.com. Unfortunately, that was put together by an ex who no longer works the site, and it is in shambles, and I have had a hard time getting a tech person because it's sexy time stuff, and people get a little squicky about it, or they really want to help. Hi, Rain. I would be happy to help you with your website.
She needs a professional. Yeah.
And I'm like, no. I want to give you money, and we're working with sexy time stuff. So the website is not exactly my pride and joy, but it is there and exists. I am a real educator.
It's better than mine that doesn't exist yet. So there you go. There you go.
I have an ex who knows more about technology than me and is very much an ex. But Rain DeGrey on all socials. And please do join my mailing list. Please do follow me on socials. I would love to get to know you better. Don't be creepy about it, though. No stalkers. Don't want that.
We have mutual respect here, people. Yes, yes.
Mutual respect. And I love educating, and I love working with sexuality, and I love learning, and I love sharing what I learn with other people. And, don't give up. I think that's the thing, is always keep moving in a forward direction. It's the perspective shift that I want to offer is that you and I have never died of tuberculosis. We've never had dysentery. We've never been burnt at the stake, even once. Like we've got antibiotics and medicine.
Which life are you talking about, Rain? I'm just kidding.
This one is
okay.
If you take a step back and you look at it and you're like, you know what? I would not, as a female, if I had a time machine, would I want to go in the past? The answer is no. They didn't. What would you do when you had your period? They'd be like, shove some rags in there. Good luck. You're unclean. We got to put you in the dousing pool. You can't cook food or touch your husband because you're filthy.
To the hut with you. I'll talk to you in 5 days.
Right. And you're just going to go sit and bleed in the hut. Boy, I hope this is over soon. So I'm just saying there's never been a better time in history to be a woman than now. And they want you to give up. Don't give up. Look at your blessings, of which are significant. I have never gone to bed hungry. I don't know what that's like. I shouldn't be alive. Medical intervention has saved my life. And it's just a miracle, babes. Like have fun with it. You can look at the same facts and be like, holy shit, everything's on fire. And also, I've got a corgi I'm hanging out with. I can eat some cheesecake. I've got a great Halloween tree that lights up. you know.
Oh, I'm trying to make friends in the neighborhood. We got like a nighttime walk thing happening. Because remember, I think last time I was like, I don't have any local friends. I met some, we did like a ladies' night thing last Wednesday, and now we're going to walk. Wonderful. Like, that's huge, right?
Yeah, manifest your destiny. The thing is that there's so much we can accomplish if we don't get in our way. And so many people I see start with, I can't. If your starting step is, I can't, there's nowhere to go. It's hard, it's difficult, I'm scared, I don't want to do it, but I'm going to try. There's steps. But if you start off with, I can't, there's nowhere to go with that. And I'm not a quitter. I'm not going to give up. Sure, there are times where I'm in bed with the covers over my head, like, oh my fucking God, seriously?
But like the last 3 weeks for me, yes. But now we've come out of it, right?
We've come out of it. We've come out of it. There's only one thing left in the box. It's not Gwyneth Paltrow's head. Hope is what's left in the box. And we still have hope. That's what gets us out of bed every morning. My box is full of hope.
Fucking great words. Thank you, Rain. I'm gonna play that
back. My
back
pleasure. We're going to be back for round 3. That was part of my tips on how to not do burnout. That was just a teaser, a taste.
Oh, I love it. Right. We're writing the next episode already. Okay. Well, so thank you everybody for being here. If you missed the 10-minute zombie story, go ahead and go to the YouTube, because it'll just get reposted on the little tab here in a moment. And
it's spicy, it's true, and it's not boring.
Right. Oh, thanks for showing up, Nathan, as we're signing off. Okay, everybody. We love you. We'll see you next week.
Take